Hello, Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia and this is TransurfingTV. And today I am going to dive into some risky waters and talk about transurfing and politics. I'm going to let you in on a couple of secrets that may just change the way you feel about reality transurfing entirely. And I'm going to really approach this from a non-dualistic perspective so you can see that your world is actually taking care of you, especially if you are a US citizen and you are going into the next 90 days or 4 years with anxiety or some sort of negative emotion. The fact of the matter is, if you turned off the news, if you stopped looking at things online, and you stopped participating in political conversations, politics would cease to exist in your layer of reality. You can just turn it off if you want, and things will just be absolutely normal in your layer of reality. Before I get started though, remember to like this video and remember my world is taking care of me. This is probably a good time to, if you're struggling politically with the political world right now, this is a good time to adopt this. My world is taking care of me. Everything is going according to plan and things are working out beautifully and will continue to do so with ease. Remember, Teachable course down below, Reality 2.0. Check it out, y'all. So, transurfing and politics. First of all, I want to state that when I first found reality transurfing, I was a fairly political person. I had gone back and forth between political parties about 3 times, and I felt as though now, since I'm a transurfer, I simply cannot pay attention to politics because Vadim Zeland explicitly calls politics out in Reality Transurfing steps 1 through 5 as a pendulum, and of course it is, but everything is a pendulum in this world. Everything that is man-made is a pendulum. It needs thought energy to survive. So it is really about you choosing your pendulums wisely and knowing which pendulums you are in fact in business with and being okay with that. So if you can do that effectively and with awareness, be involved in politics, you can still exist on some of the higher lifelines, even with politics in your layer of reality, if you like, and I have it broken down here. But if you participate in politics in a lower you sort of way, you are going to be on these bottom tracks here. So here's the thing as I see it with US politics. US politics is actually extremely balanced, right? From the time that I was born, I'm about 40 now, I am 40 now. Carter was president, right? And then after him, Reagan served 8 years, and then George Bush Sr. for 4, and then Bill Clinton for 8, and then George Bush Jr. for 8, and then Obama for 8. So right leading up to the Trump administration, if you look back and you calculate those years in between the Conservative Party and the Liberal Party, it is literally 50-50. Both parties served the exact same amount in my lifespan leading up to the Trump administration. So when you think about politics and you think about how things are going horribly wrong or not in the direction that you like, or things are all going to hell, remember this fact: the US political system is almost perfect in nature, because if it goes too far off the spectrum on one end, it balances itself back out the next time. And we are in a constant state of balance. So remember that balance, right? Remember that it is balanced, even if it doesn't seem balanced in the moment. And that's exactly what I do, and it helps a lot. So I heard a hilarious term the other day an identitarian, right? Somebody that overtly identifies with a political party or a movement or something else, right? They become a puppet, if you will, of that pendulum, adhering to it and identifying so hard with it. And I would suggest looking up some of Gurdjieff's ideas on identification. It is our number one way that we get sucked out of our center screen and into our outer screen. This is all Tufty stuff. So if you're identifying too hard with a political party or a movement right now, it's going to be a real challenge for you to fuel yourself and your own stuff because you are adhering to something else and giving that thing your thought energy, especially with super high levels of identification. So Tufty is a great read right now if you are struggling with keeping balance for yourself while we are in these tumultuous political waters. So getting to my graph here, and I'm sure you all watching know somebody, maybe it's even you, that's so identified that it's causing them problems, causing you problems in your life. And the whole of transurfing is about you taking back the power for you. That doesn't mean that you have to tune out of the pendulum entirely. Just make sure you're in the driver's seat, right? You don't want to be a puppet to the pendulum. You want the pendulum to give you more than you're putting in. So how do you stay on some of the upper lifelines being political in these current times? Well, this is you maintaining awareness about it just being entertainment, right? That's what I do. I do tune in once in a while, but I look at it from a transurfing perspective, from the transurfing filter, and I'm constantly entertained by watching massive pendulums try to battle each other to the death, right? I see it for what it is rather than, again, identifying or overtly adhering to one side of the spectrum or the other. I seek the advantage. If something happens that is against my intention or something that I don't want to see happen, this hasn't happened in a while because simply I'm not that invested emotionally, but I seek the advantage. I try to maintain balance within myself. If the news is on and I hear something that triggers me, you know what? I turn it off, I get up, I leave the room, and I go do something creative for myself, and I don't let myself become off balance. I practice acceptance. I practice being realistic. Again, getting back to, the how many presidents have served on the liberal side and on the conservative side. It's 50-50, right? This is being realistic. Nothing's happening that's completely off balance. And if you think that it is, zoom out, right? Gain a little bit of perspective and look at the situation for what it is. It's actually quite balanced. Again, tuning out, this is the same as balance, really putting yourself in a position where you maintain awareness about what that pendulum is getting from you and how much it's getting from you. And if you don't like it, you have the ability to tune out. Really exercise your free will here, everyone. Tune the F out if you need to. So what's going to get you, what's going to mess you up in the next 90 days, 4 years, the rest of your life? Narrowed vision. Again, getting back to it, it's a balanced system. If you narrow in on exactly what you don't like right now, it is going to mess you up. Getting hooked emotionally, letting the pendulum toss you around like a rag doll and you buying into it hook, line, and sinker. Consequences. My God, we have seen so many people on the news lately that are really dealing with some heavy consequences of actions or doing something that is in line with what the pendulums want us to do, right? Obviously, we can think about people getting shot, rioters, all kinds of stuff. These are people going to jail, getting killed. These are people that are suffering consequences as a result of their identification, right? Becoming an identitarian. So I actually have a few people in my life, family members, that are experiencing some pretty serious consequences right now because they have been overtly identified. So if you are experiencing consequences, it is time to check yourself right now, y'all. Energy loss. If you're tuned into the news all night, you're watching it, you're freaking out, you're having anxiety, you go to bed feeling like shit, you wake up feeling like shit, you don't have the energy to do your own stuff, you're experiencing energy loss, and you are a loser in that game. You are an absolute loser in that game. These are the worst. Catastrophizing. Oh my God, everything's going to hell. This is not good. The US is ruined. Whatever it is, you do that, and your layer of reality will definitely provide for you exponentially more evidence to support this theory that all is going to hell. So don't play that game again. Loser. Duality, dualistic thinking. This is good. This is bad. This is right. This is wrong. This dualistic thinking puts us in a place where if something against our intention goes down, we are going to adopt a negative mindset and run with that. And we all know where that leads. If you are a transurfer, this is the induced transition. This is you going down on lifelines. So where are you in this? Are you enjoying politics? Are you being entertained by politics? Are you approaching it in a balanced manner where you're being realistic and you're practicing acceptance and seeing advantage and tuning out when you need to? Or do you have narrowed vision, getting hooked, experiencing consequences, energy loss, catastrophizing, and practicing dualistic thinking? So let me know your thoughts, everyone. I am very, very curious to see what the comment thread is going to be like on this video. And remember to like it and comment, my world is taking care of me. And remember, if your political guy doesn't get voted for and you lose, you know what? Your world's taking care of you. See the advantage. It's all going to work out. I promise you. So thank you again. And remember, like this video and comment below. My world is taking care of me. Bye, guys.